right, hello everybody. So we have some more videos this week from the Brookings Arts Council. As always, my name is Shelby, and today we're going to talk about some perspective stuff. So I know that I've done some perspective videos in the past if you've watched them. I think the aquarium one comes to mind right now. But for this one, I'm going to show you how to do some like 3D like block letters in perspective, so to look like they're kind of receding off into the distance. So for supplies today, I just have a pencil and some paper, and if you do want to color these, you sure can. Just any kind of like drawing or coloring materials, markers, crayons, colored pencils, paint if your parents are okay with that. I will probably end up using like markers or colored pencils or something. It's not but it's mostly just drawing today. So I'm going to turn my paper kind of this long way just because I want mine. My name is a little bit longer, but if your name is short, you can do it this way too. It's really up to you. I'm not going to dictate which way you do your paper. But first we're going to start off drawing our name, and I'm just going to do it. If you're not familiar with like bubble letters or like the big kind of block letters, I'm going to show you how to do that. And I think it's easiest to do them all in capitals just because there's some more right angles than with lowercase. So I'm just going to start off by writing, like just printing your name in all capital letters in kind of pretty close to the bottom of the page. I'll do that and show you. And you want like quite a bit of space in between them. All right, so we're starting with just printing my name, and it is backwards in the camera, but my name is Shelby, as I said, and so I'm just printing my name like that, and I wrote really light so I can go ahead and erase, and you're just gonna trace around those letters that you already wrote so that your printed lines that you just wrote are in the middle of those letters. It just kind of helps make sure that you're getting your bubble letters accurate and how they're supposed to look. If you don't need to do this step, don't feel like you have to, but I even like to do it just to make sure that everything looks how it's supposed to look. So I'll do those first two letters there, and I'm gonna erase the middle on my H there just so you can kind of see what I was doing. So just like that. So with the S, I left it so you can see that I wrote my S like that, but then I traced around it. And then I did the same with my H. I just erased that inside line on my H. So I'm just going to erase there, and I'm going to quickly finish the rest of these while you guys kind of work on that. So it just makes a little bit easier to do those letters this way. But again, if you don't need that kind of help, please don't feel like you have to do it. It's just a good kind of safety net so that your letters don't get super crazy. And again, all capital letters with these, just because when we're using perspective, you're kind of using a vanishing point, and things are just a little bit easier to work with if they have some right angles. And mostly the uppercase letters just have a better variety. Lowercase letters are just a little bit more round, which makes it a little more difficult. So I'm erasing those inside letters that I wrote out already, and I'll show you kind of the next step that we're going to work with. All right, so that's what we got. In big block letters, my name, going from those other letters we did. So the next step is we're gonna put a vanishing point in the background. So that's where all your letters are gonna recede back to. So that's like the furthest space, like at the end of the tunnel, you know, at the end of the tunnel, that very point at the very end, that's what the vanishing point is. So I'm just gonna make mine right up there in the center. My letters will all look, they'll go this way. If you do it over here, it'll be sideways. It just depends on where you want to do it. So we're going to do that. And then on each of these points, you're going to connect from your letter to that vanishing point. To the vanishing point. And some of your letters, depending on where they're at in relationship to the vanishing point, you might get some that you don't see, and some might run into letters. I'm just going to do a couple and I'll show you what I mean. Got my S done. Gonna do my H. If it's easy for you, or if you have one available, You can use a ruler just to make sure that these lines are straight, but if you can draw straight lines, you don't need to worry about it. All right, so basically you just got lines heading back up to the vanishing point. So that's what we're doing, and you want to do it with all the points. So all the spaces that your letter would be like considered three-dimensional are kind of in that space. And once you have those all in, I'm just finishing up on just like a couple more, and I'll show you the next kind of step here. All right, so you should have all of that. So it looks like strings kind of holding it up. And so when you've got this step all the way done, you can even like draw a line back across the top of all of those to kind of cut off. And you can, so I drew my line up there. So that's how far back into space I want my letters. And you can erase all this stuff up here so that they have like a clear kind of stopping point instead of just receding all the way back. And then you can go in and kind of erase those extra marks in between the letters. So like I have my line straight across, but to just show the distinction between like this L and this E, like I could erase up here in the middle so that your letters kind of have some space in between them up there too. And mine really don't have a lot because they're pretty close together. If yours are really far apart, you might be able to see a little bit more in between. And I think that this would be fun too if you did like a little bit of shading on them to show like maybe you do like showing that it's going back into space further yet. So mine, that's what I have left with on mine. It's kind of like a movie thing. You could do it the other way too if you did it like up, and then it would be I don't know, like movie credits. Do they do that in some like old movies where it shows like the back and like the sides of the letters? But yeah, so that's what I got for you this week. And you can go ahead and add color. And as always, like if you want to show me what you've been working on or have any suggestions or like ideas for future videos, please let me know. But that's what I got for this week, and you'll see me again next week.